Yesterday, Donald Trump suffered yet another humiliating legal defeat. And honestly, it's getting to the point where I just need to record that one line so we can just play it over and over because I'm having to say it at least once a week. But yes, folks, yesterday, Donald Trump suffered another legal defeat in court. This one stemming from a lawsuit that he had filed against both the New York Times and his niece, Mary Trump. In his lawsuit, Donald Trump had alleged that Mary Trump and the New York Times and their reporters engaged in a, quote, insidious plot to take him down by, of course, releasing some of his tax materials that Mary Trump had in her possession as a result of the family drama with the wills and all that crap. So she had some information. She worked with the New York Times reporters. Donald Trump sued because of this so-called insidious plot, which is what he called it in the lawsuit. And yesterday, a member of the New York State Supreme Court smacked the lawsuit down against the New York Times while not ruling on the separate lawsuit against Mary Trump, but effectively ended Trump's suit against the New York Times. The judge said the case, quote, fails as a matter of constitutional law, and said that news gathering is, quote, the very core of protected First Amendment activity. So the court basically is telling Trump, like, you can't get mad just because they reported something. You cannot be angry because they're engaging in protected speech under the Constitution. Your lawsuit is unconstitutional. Now, you would think that the lawyers who took on this case for Donald Trump would have warned him about this. And maybe they did. I can't say that they did or that they didn't. But any good lawyer who looked at this case had to have thought there's no way. Like, we're going to get in trouble for filing this. And of course they did. Donald Trump now has to pay the legal fees for the New York Times for filing such a frivolous lawsuit against them. So not only did the case against the New York Times get thrown out, but now Trump has to pay them money instead of getting money from them. And it should also be noted, and this pissed Donald Trump off as well, the New York Times won a Pulitzer for their reporting. So you lost the case, you have to pay them money, and they got the Pulitzer. So everything is going wrong for Donald Trump. And while we're talking about legal cases in New York, it's also worth noting that yesterday in the E. Jean Carroll trial, Donald Trump's lawyer Joe Tacopina proudly announced that, guess what? We're not going to be calling any witnesses of our own. That's not smart. Definitely not what you want to see in a civil criminal defense case, because this is not criminal, it is civil, but it's dealing with a criminal matter. And Tacopina says, we're not calling any of our own people to defend Donald Trump, to refute what E. Jean Carroll and her legal team have had to say. Nope, we're kind of done. We don't feel like fighting this. That's a pretty big screw up on behalf of Tacopina. So I'm willing to bet probably within the coming days, I'm going to have to sit here once again and tell you that Donald Trump suffered another humiliating legal defeat because his lawyers have done such a bad job in the E. Jean Carroll case. That one is, of course, already starting to wrap up at this point. So stay tuned. I'm sure I'll be repeating that line again in the very near future. This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.